What if the biggest obstacle in your life isn't outside you? What if it's inside your own mind? You sit down to start something important, but suddenly you don't feel ready. Your brain begins creating excuses. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later, maybe never. The goal looks enormous, so enormous that you don't even take the first step. Negative thoughts sound convincing, and because they sound real, you believe them. You overthink every option. Eventually, doing nothing feels safer than making a choice. Your brain doesn't always show reality. Sometimes it shows a distorted version of it. Days pass, and self-doubt quietly grows stronger. But then a question appears. What if those thoughts aren't actually true? What if your brain is trying to protect you while accidentally holding you back? Your brain constantly sends warnings, but not every warning is a real danger. Its main job is survival. It would rather keep you safe than help you grow. That's why even small challenges can feel threatening. Your brain treats uncertainty like danger. A tiny problem becomes a giant shadow, not because it's huge, but because fear magnifies it. You focus on one mistake, and suddenly it feels bigger than all your progress. Then come the worst-case scenarios. Your mind creates disasters that haven't even happened. But fears are not facts, and your thoughts are not always the truth. The moment you act despite fear, you start weakening its control. Growth begins when you move forward anyway. Even one small step changes everything, and slowly your confidence grows. Not because fear disappears, but because you keep moving. Here's something powerful. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go all day. You don't have to obey every single one. When a negative thought appears, write it down instead of believing it instantly. Then ask yourself, is this actually true? Most fears are assumptions, not evidence. When you challenge false beliefs, your mind becomes clearer, and with clarity comes action. You stop arguing with yourself and start moving. Success rarely happens in giant leaps. It grows through small, consistent steps. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. The brain may create fear, but you decide which thoughts deserve your attention. Change doesn't begin with confidence, it begins with a decision. One small action may seem insignificant, but it proves that fear isn't in control. Every time you move forward, your brain learns that the danger wasn't real. Just like a muscle, courage grows when you use it. The results may be small at first, but small improvements compound over time. Soon, challenges that once terrified you start feeling manageable. You realize something important. You're stronger than the version of yourself who wanted to quit. The fears haven't vanished completely. They've simply lost their power over you, and for the first time, the future looks exciting instead of frightening. Because growth begins the moment you stop believing every fearful thought. Most people wait to feel motivated. That's where they get stuck. Successful people start first. Motivation often comes after action. The hardest part is rarely the work itself. It's simply getting started. Once you begin, your mind becomes less resistant. Progress is built like a wall, one brick at a time. You don't notice growth every day, but it accumulates quietly. Small actions repeated daily create extraordinary results. When you look back, the difference becomes obvious. The same challenge that once scared you now feels manageable. Because confidence isn't something you're given. It's something you build through action. At some point, everyone faces a choice: stay comfortable or keep growing. The comfortable path feels safe. The growth path feels uncertain. Your brain naturally prefers comfort. It wants to conserve energy and avoid risk. But every meaningful achievement begins the moment you leave that comfort zone. Growth is rarely easy. That's why most people never reach their potential. And yes, you'll make mistakes. Everyone does. The difference is that successful people don't let mistakes define them. Instead, they use every setback as proof that they're still moving forward. Over time, challenges stop looking like threats. They start looking like opportunities. And that's when something powerful happens. You begin trusting yourself more than your fears. For years, many people believe something is holding them back. They search for answers everywhere: books, advice, motivation, shortcuts. But eventually, a realization appears. The problem was never a lack of ability. The real obstacle was believing every fearful thought. The real prison was inside the mind. And the key was there all along: the willingness to act despite uncertainty. The moment you stop obeying fear, new possibilities begin to open. What once seemed impossible suddenly becomes reachable. Not because the world changed, because your perspective changed. This is the breakthrough. You finally understand that thoughts are suggestions, not commands. And when you truly understand that, your entire future starts to look different. Your brain will always try to protect you. That's what it was designed to do. But protection becomes a problem when it stops you from growing. The solution isn't to eliminate fear. The solution is to stop letting fear decide. Choose a goal, then take the first step today. Some days will be difficult. Some days you'll doubt yourself again. Keep moving anyway. Progress belongs to those who continue. One day you'll look back and barely recognize the person you used to be. Not because life became easier, because you became stronger. So the next time your mind says you can't do this, smile and keep walking. Because your brain is lying to you and your actions can prove it wrong.